Frank Menard here from the Menard Team Coaching, powered by the Napoleon Hill Institute. Hey, last night I was actually doing a presentation for a local business networking event, and part of my presentation talked about the 6 ghosts of fear. And I realized it's been a while, actually last November I think I did a video on the 6 ghosts of fear. So I thought I might like to revisit that topic today for today's video, because fear is what typically holds us back from living the best life that we can live and achieving all the goals and achievements that we want to achieve in our lives. So I'm actually going through my mentorship manual here. This is the manual that I use when I'm studying and reflecting on how to help people live their best life. So I'm in the chapter talking about the 6 ghosts of fear. So first I would like to read what are the 6 ghosts of fear. Napoleon Hill describes fear as a destructive force that paralyzes our thoughts and actions. He identifies the 6 major fears or ghosts that dominate the human mind and hinder success. These fears are not rooted in reality, but are often imagined or conditioned beliefs that limit our potential. They're not real. And I'm remembering one of my other mentors, Zig Ziglar, used to say, fear stands for false evidence appearing real. Most of the time, the fears are just things in our head, or I call them demons on my shoulder, that are trying to hinder or block my ability to succeed at something that I'm perfectly capable of succeeding. So let's go through the fears. So first and foremost, the role of fear in holding you back. Fear operates in subtle ways, influencing decision-making, creating doubt, and draining energy. When dominated by fear, you avoid risks, you stay trapped in your comfort zone, you focus on obstacles instead of opportunities, and you sabotage your success with negative thoughts and inaction. So when you think about what I just read, are you suffering from any of those actions or lack of action because of specific fears that are holding you back? The first fear, and probably the most common, is the fear of poverty. And Napoleon defines it as this: the fear of losing money or being unstable to meet financial needs. I know I personally have been in situations where I was afraid to take a step because if I lost all that money, how was I going to get it back and pay my bills? So oftentimes, especially if we're living from paycheck to paycheck or on a very limited income, that fear of losing what we have causes us to take no action at all. It holds you back. It causes hesitation in taking risks, risk-making investments, or pursuing opportunities. It often leads to a scarcity mindset. I don't have enough. I have to hold on to what I have, so I can't take that opportunity. I can't take that risk, even though it may be small, because I need to save that money. How do you overcome it? First off, adopt an abundance mindset. Adopt an abundance mindset. There's plenty of money out there. And if I'm speaking from personal experience, I know that there have been times when I didn't really have the money, but I really, really wanted to do something, to buy something, to take action on something, and suddenly the money appeared. Now, I know that sounds kind of hokey, but if I'm being honest, when I signed up for my certification process with Napoleon Hill, it was a pretty hefty investment. And I made that investment, and all of a sudden the money appeared. It appeared from real estate referrals that I had given to an agent up north, that suddenly he had helped each one of those individuals. There were 3 specifically, and those 3 individuals closed 1 week before I made the investment. So there was the money. It was there all along. I just had to wait for it, right? So having an abundance mindset, knowing that there's plenty of money out there surrounding us, is really, really important for us to have a clear mind to be able to make educated decisions. Now, don't take risk and spend money that you don't have and can't afford, but know that there's always a way. We simply have to be creative and find a way, legally, of course. All right. How about the number 2 fear is the fear of criticism. The fear of criticism, the definition is being judged. You're fearful of being judged by your family, your friends, your colleagues. What are they going to think? And Hill talks often about who the heck are they? He oftentimes trying to find who they were, and there was really no description on who they were. It's just we worry about what other people say about us. We worry about what other people think about the actions that we're taking. When in reality, it's none of my business what they think. If I do my due diligence, make smart, intentional actions, take those steps, I will be fine. And oftentimes those who are critical are trying to save us from harm. They're not trying to hurt us, they're trying to save us. They think we're doing something silly, or we're taking away our safety net by changing a career at the age of 50 or 45 or whatever that magic number is. Why would you do that now? You're so close to retirement. At the end of the day, we need to stop worrying about what other people are going to think about what we do, because it's not about them, it's about you. You can reframe your criticism as feedback for growth. Listen to what they say and see if it has validity. See if there's something there that you should probably check out to do a little bit more due diligence. Surround yourself with supportive people. Forget the people that are criticizing you. Find people that are encouraging you and supporting you to move forward. Focus on your purpose rather than external validation. I just had a meeting today with a young lady who has her real estate license, but she has another side job for that extra, or for that income, that's security net that she needs to have. And she shared with us today in our mastermind event that we were talking, she said, Frank, I made a decision to make real estate my full-time career. And then I asked my best friend what she thought about it. And she said, what are you, stupid? And immediately it brought her down from the high level of, I'm going to do this, to the lower level of, oh, wow, should I do this? So that person wasn't trying to be harmful. She was trying to be helpful in her way, because in her mindset, it's a risk to take away your security net. But anyone who's been involved in independent contracting and working for yourself and creating your own income from your own efforts and your own knowledge knows that you have to make that solid commitment to make the move, make it a commitment, and do what you need to do to get the job done, right? So fortunately, that young lady went home and spoke with her husband, and her husband said, of course you can do this. We know you can do it, so just go do it, all right? So, fear of criticism. How about fear of ill health? I'm thinking back to the pandemic, right? During the pandemic days, everybody was afraid of going out of the house because they were afraid to get sick. I was fortunate enough to live in the state of Florida during those days. I still live here today. And I remember my family up north used to say, oh, you guys have Florida mind down there. Well, because we didn't close everything up in Florida. We kept everything open. We proceeded with caution, but we didn't stop and hide for fear of ill health. And I'm happy to say that most of the people I know, we're fine. We followed protocol, we did the right things, and we were able to maintain our business and keep things moving forward. The fourth fear of loss of love. Unfortunately, the definition here is the fear of losing relationships or being abandoned by loved ones because of the actions that you're taking. Personally, I think that can be handled by deep and solid communication, conversation, showing them that you did the due diligence, found the facts, and you weren't just making some off-the-wall decision to move into a different area of your life. Have deep conversations about that, and then ultimately make a decision that's satisfactory for everybody. Doesn't always work that way. Sometimes says, no, if you're doing that, I'm out of here. Well, then you have to question the relationship, right? If you really, really, truly believe in your dream, don't let anyone stop you from pursuing it. Number 5, the fear of old age. Whenever I say that ghost of fear, the fear of old age, I'm thinking about Kentucky Fried Chicken. Colonel Sanders created Kentucky Fried Chicken at the age of 72, when most people were expected to be suffering from old age in their 40s and 50s. At the end of the day, like the song says, how old would you be if you didn't know the day you were born? Right? Age is just a number. Live your life. If you want to pursue something, pursue it for your own personal happiness, your own personal achievement, regardless of what your age is. It's just a number, right? So don't let fear of old age stop you. You're not too old to try something new. And last but not least, we can't control this last one. It's the fear of death. And this fear, the definition is the fear of the unknown and the end of life. The fact is, we all know that the end of life is going to come. We don't know when it's going to come, and we don't know how it's going to come. So to live a life of fear of dying by locking yourself up in your home and not going out and enjoying what life you have left is just a challenging and difficult way to live. I remember my dad, when he hit his 80s, he used to say, the older I get, the more invisible I become. And, you know, I love my dad. But at the end of the day, he became invisible because he stopped going out and he stopped engaging with people. And when you stop engaging, you do get old and you do become invisible. So stay active for as long as you can. Enjoy as much of life as you possibly can until the very end, whenever that comes. So the 6 ghosts of fear, just to wrap it up: the fear of poverty, the fear of criticism, the fear of ill health, the fear of loss of a loved one, the fear of old age, and the fear of death. Recognize each one of those fears as one of the items that stops many, many people from pursuing and achieving their definite major purpose in life, their best life that they could possibly live. Don't let that be you. Get out there, get it done. Been a great day today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you like this message, please share it with someone who could use it. Give me a like, and always please join me by subscribing to my channel, where I bring a positive message each and every week to help you live your best life. Hope you have a great day, guys. Enjoy. Thank you so much.